They were doing calculations to try to figure out how many stings would kill me.
Hey everybody, and welcome to Monsters Lounge. I just realized how close my face was to the camera, by the way.
Oh, that's supposed to be. That's so we can see you.
Yeah, I think I was a little bit closer than comfortable.
Okay.
Hi Tressa, how are you?
Good. Technology is the bane of my existence today and forever. How are you?
I'm good. I'm extra super duper good because we have a really cool guest on tonight.
We
And
do.
I'm not even gonna ask you about TikToks or mumble something
Oh,
about sharks or anything.
what?
None of that stuff. We're gonna get right into it.
I don't know who you are anymore.
I know. It's a new year, new me.
I don't.
I know, I don't like that. I don't like that
uh,
at all. When I worked at Barnes& and Noble, those signs were always around, and I was like,
Ew.
what are we doing? What are we doing?
See,
Just
don't read. That's what happens.
it's is that I don't know if that's actual. It has
No,
any basis in
prove it.
reality whatsoever.
I think I'm right.
So I've said on the show a ton that I have grown up with folklore and legends. That's the stuff of my childhood. But what I don't maybe talk about a lot is that I spent a lot of time in the country as a child, outside exploring things and traveling a little bit. Um, and my grandparents loved traveling, and so one of the steadfast things that we had, and I read and I read and read and read, were National Geographic magazines, right? So anytime that I meet somebody who is in any way associated with Nat Geo, I'm like immediate, like stars in my eyes. I'm like, oh, tell me all of the things, because truly that's kind of like the penultimate dream, right? I'm really hoping I use that word correctly.
You mispronounced it.
Yeah. So at Crypticon, I got the chance to listen to somebody who has worked on a Nat Geo show, was the host of one, and I was thrilled to talk to somebody who was a traveler and hear the stories and all of these things. So our guest tonight, Pat Spain, he is a wildlife biologist. First of all, we know I love this.
Yes.
He's a biotech expert. Not real sure what that means. He's a TV presenter and award-winning cryptozoologist. So all of these things, I'm so excited. The great nephew of Charles Fort.
Yeah.
He scientifically investigates unexplained wildlife and fringe phenomena. He is known for extreme field research and high-risk adventures around the world. And we'll get to hear a little bit about that. I'm going to shut up now. Please help me welcome Pat.
Oh, hello,
Hello.
welcome.
Hello, thank you so
Yay.
much. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for
Between
being
us.
here.
Absolutely. I share everything that you're saying about Nat Geo. It was an absolute dream come true to work with them, and everybody at Nat Geo is just as cool and just as great as you're imagining.
Thank you. Thank you. I needed that confirmation somehow. I feel
Yeah.
like, I mean, some of my favorite people, like Dr. Maria Mayer, works with Nat Geo. She's an explorer and whatever. Anyway, so I super fangirl over Nat Geo.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
really, I mean, just I still have a whole bunch of like shirts and hats and just everything that they gave me, and just having the little, the little yellow rectangle is so cool. Everything.
So good, right?
Yeah, they're
You see
amazing.
that little rectangle and you're like, yes, I don't know what's going to happen, but it's going to be good.
And it opens so many doors. That little
Oh, yeah.
rectangle gives you the opportunity to do things that I never imagined that I'd be able to do. It's just, we were in rural Mongolia in the middle of the Gobi Desert, and a bunch of monks at this temple that we went to all just like they were so excited about Nat Geo. They saw this, they saw the rectangle, they knew the Nat Geo, so that got us in with them. So we spent the whole day with the monks and gave them all hats. So I've got these great pictures of the monks in like their saffron robes and their ropes, and
Mm.
and then they're wearing Nat Geo baseball hats.
Oh my God, that's so wild. I love it so
And they were
much.
pumped. They were awesome.
I bet they were. Like that's so phenomenal. One thing that I was rewatching because I didn't realize that I had actually watched you in Beast Hunter years ago
Yeah, it was a while ago.
until until I saw you again and I was like, oh wait, like that sounds really familiar. So I was rewatching that and your experience with riding a camel.
Oh yeah,
That was
yeah,
the first time that you had ridden a camel,
it
and
was.
aren't they fun?
They are. Yeah. Yeah,
I
it was the
highly
first time that
recommend.
I was riding one of the with the two hump, the back. I'm not going to pronounce it right, as I've read the word a million times. I'm not going to try, but one of the two hump camels. I'd
Yeah,
ridden the one hump camels before, and I kind of knew what I was doing there, but you can't tell by watching the footage at all with the two hump. Different beast.
yeah,
But yeah,
completely and totally.
that was a while back. That was about 20 pounds lighter and a lot more brown hair. Gray.
Well, also kind of a lot less hair. You had like a whole shaved head thing
Yeah.
going on, so
Yeah, it was just the easiest. It was I got clippers and just put them on two, and that was it. That was my haircut for about 10 years. It was actually not until my wife got pregnant with our first child, and I was like, all right, I'm getting dad hair. Like immediately. I went out, I got a pair of shorts that came above the knee, and I grew dad
yes,
hair like the next week.
yes, that's perfection. Way to nail it. So, I mean, obviously, we have to point this out, at the beginning of the show. So your great uncle was Charles Fort.
Yeah, yeah, wildly. And I didn't know growing up. I had read Fort's books without, well, not all of them, but I had read a couple of his books without realizing that we were related. And my grandmother, on my father's side, always used to say, "You're just like your Uncle Charlie," but she would say it in like kind of a not the nicest way. Like,
Right.
"Oh, you're
Yeah.
just, you're like one of those weird kids. You're just like your Uncle Charlie."
Yeah.
And I had no idea who Uncle Charlie is. We had a million different relatives from, far flung, places that may
Sure.
or may not have actually been related. So I just kind of, sure, I'm like Uncle Charlie, all right. And then in high school, she saw me rereading the Book of the Damned, and she goes, "That's your Uncle Charlie." So she goes, "No, the Charles Fort. That's," and I went, "No way." And she
What?
went into their back room and pulled out a stack of his books that are all, first edition, signed by him, written out to various members of the family. She goes,
Oh
"Yeah,
my.
this is your uncle." Oh my God. So then I had a connection with my grandmother, and then she and I got a little bit closer because of that, and like
Oh,
talked
that's
about that.
so
And she,
sweet.
yeah, it was really, really nice. It was like the kind of the one thing that we had shared that we
Yeah.
could
Love that.
connect on. And then she, when she passed away, she left me all of his stuff. So I have a kind of
You
a couple
auctioned it all
boxes
off and
of
just
Fort.
made a payday.
No, absolutely no. And then I just recently got another box of some more of his stuff that I'm still kind of making my way through. So
Oh,
Oh,
I love that.
that's
So, like, it
me
speaks to
too.
the nostalgia in my soul, you know?
yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
so have you crossed paths with some of his like research? Like, have you been to some of the same places that he's gone and looking for the same kind of things?
Yes. So sea serpents are one of the things. So in the Beast Hunter series, we did sea serpents out in Vancouver, Canada, and Fort had written about sea serpents, but he wrote about them almost in a way where it was just a known thing. It was just these are there. Everybody knows it. I'm not really going to talk too much more about it.
Nice.
So I did a little bit more of an in-depth investigation into
Hmm.
that. And I do think that there's something to it. I do think that of all the cryptids, we will find some animal that we can describe as a sea serpent. I don't think it's, kind of what we think of as the classic sea serpent. I think more
Right.
likely it's some kind of squid or like, something like that. But there are definitely deep sea creatures that we have not yet given a Latin name to.
Listen, I just learned this little bit from a guest, uh, uh, Shea Steingas. Nailed
Shan.
it.
Very good. Very good.
Yeah, but to her friend, she goes Shay.
Okay.
So anyway, So she was just telling us, she was on the show not too terribly long ago, and she's a marine biologist based out of Oregon.
Cool.
And she was talking about the sleeper shark because obviously I have to ask about Megalodon. I got a thing for sharks. I want it to be real so badly, while acknowledging the fact that maybe not so much.
It was. It
I
was
mean,
real.
it was. But she said that they've never like seen or measured a mature sleeper shark.
Yeah, they don't even really know what they can call a mature one because they don't
Mm-mm.
know how long they live. They found ones that are something like 600 years old,
Yeah.
and they really don't know. They're just down there. They're just kind of wandering around. They go blind very early in their life because a little parasite gets into their eye and eats part
Oh,
of their eye.
that's
But it doesn't
that's
stop them.
sad.
It doesn't really bother them.
Yeah. But anyway, so there could be a giant shark down there too. It just might
Sure.
not be what I want it to be.
Yeah, Megalodon was a lot faster than the sleeper shark, so would have to probably not be at the same depth and not for all the extended periods of time. The sleeper shark kind of gets by because it's basically asleep. It just
I
drifts
mean, you
around,
with your
waits until it bumps
science.
into something. I'm a marine
Oh,
biologist as well. Sorry.
Don't come in here with all your science and biology. Listen.
It is a little bit of a Debbie Downer a lot of the times, I know.
But it's also fascinating because I think we forget how truly fascinating any of the animal species that we have on the planet, or that we're discovering new things all the time. Which kind of leads me, and God bless it. I love the it's called Lazarus species, is it
Yeah,
not?
yeah.
I love that
what does
concept.
that mean? I don't know that term.
Well, I'm gonna let the biologist.
It's a species that we previously thought had gone extinct, and then we find them. We find one, and there was a study 10 years ago or so where it's something like over 90% of mammal species that we've declared extinct we've then found to still be around.
90%?
But most of them are like little rodents. Things
Oh,
that,
yeah, yeah,
they
yeah, yeah. You lose track of
yeah,
them. They're tiny. They
yeah,
hide. I get it.
Mhm.
we are finding new species all the time also, so there's a lot that we thought were extinct, or that there's only one sample of someone, some explorer took it in the late 17 early 1800s, and then they never found another one, so they just kind of assumed they were extinct. But then we actually go and do a real population assessment of the area, and then we lo and behold, there's a thriving population that the locals have been finding and keeping as pets for for centuries, and nobody thought to ask them, because a lot of Western scientists really think only Western scientists matter.
Right.
So,
Why would we
so
ask the
Valid.
locals? That's
exactly,
crazy.
Mhm.
yeah. So a lot of these species are unknown to science, but not at all unknown to the locals. And we are finding new stuff all the time, but and some of it is really cool and really unique and very different. But a lot of it is, now that we have better genetic testing, we're finding animals that look remarkably like known species, but we're finding through genetic testing that a lot of people would call it a new species. So a lot of the discoveries that we have now, they're like, there's a new species of whale, and people are like, how can there be a new species of whale?
Mm,
And then you see it and you're like, oh, okay, well, yeah, it's not
yeah.
really. It's
Also,
I
technically
we're
a
will.
all
new
afraid of the
species.
ocean, so none of us
Yeah.
explore it. So there's always going to be new stuff in the ocean. It's fine.
It's true.
I will admit I'm sometimes a little bit disappointed. Like they found like a new, like a what bonnet hammerhead,
Yeah, I saw that one. Yeah,
in the Caribbean, and I was like, well, it's a little bit of a bummer because it looks just like the rest of them.
right. Yeah, you could not pick them out of a lineup,
No,
but it's
and
cool. It's good.
so that actually leads me to asking you about, and oh boy, we're looking for some serious mispronunciation, so I'm going to let you do it.
No problem.
But the trip to the Amazon where you were
Yes.
looking for uh the M1.
Mapinguari.
Thank you.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So the Mapinguari, and I might be butchering it, who knows, but I'll say it confidently, and then it'll all be fine.
Mhm.
That's all that matters.
Yeah. So the
hmm
Mapinguari is this creature. I'm looking over to the side because I have a painting of it that
And we have a
one of
we
my
have a photo real quick for everybody
oh
watching,
yeah, there we
but I'm
go.
sure we'll get a physical description in a second. Which,
Nice.
by the
Well, so that
way, reminds me of these guys, the Blemmies. Oh no, that's not it.
oh that's
What?
That's a
that's a good.
that's a surprise for later. The Blemmies.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's a lot of these kind of myths of things with mouths in their chests and with faces on their chests and stuff like that, no heads. But I can spin around and just show the painting really quick also. So
Sure.
Oh yes,
this
please.
is the version of the Mapinguari that I have, and that's from a friend of mine who went to the Amazon in the late 70s, and he picked that painting up and gave that to me after the episode. So
I
Oh,
love that.
nice.
it's really neat. Just all the details are cool, but you can see the huge differences, right? So that
Right.
to this, you'd never guess that they're even remotely the same creature. And that's kind of what I found about the Mapinguari. So one of the cool things, well, there's so many wild things about it, but if you talk to people who don't live anywhere near the Amazon, who are nowhere near the jungle, like people in the cities, if they've heard of the Mapinguari, then they'll describe a creature like what the image that you pulled up.
hmm
It's this giant, 20-foot tall beast. Its feet are turned backwards, so it leads people around in circles or leads people to the wrong paths in the forest. It's got, a mouth in its chest and one giant eye, and if you hear it, it's dripping with poison. Its teeth are dripping with poison, and its mouth is filled with bees in one of the stories. And I mean, it just gets like
Isn't that like a
wild,
Simpsons
wild.
episode?
Exactly, exactly.
Candyman? Is he
Yeah.
Candyman?
Oh, that
Yeah.
is Candyman.
But they get into all this like if you hear the sound from it, then you'll die. You'll die immediately if you hear the call. And all of this sounds wild, right? Like it's cool and it's great, but like there's no real animal that could possibly meet any of these descriptions.
No.
But and then you go to people who are closer to where it's actually like heard or seen, and they'll start describing a much more realistic. It's maybe 8 feet tall. It's heavily built. It doesn't have feet that are turned backwards. It has claws that are tucked under. So when it leaves footprints, it looks like they're facing backwards.
Ah.
Um, the mouth kind of becomes more of like a coloration, and the eye is more of like coloration as well, and its head is kind of weird looking, like we don't know exactly what its head looks like. Um, and the smell is terrible on it, is what people say. So they get all of this, and then the sound, it's not that the sound will kill you, but what we found is that the groups, so to go to the tribes that I lived with, I needed to get special permission from the government. I had to get physicals and all these tests, which is great, and which absolutely we should do, because they need protection from all of the diseases and anything. That was
Yeah.
just to go to tribes that are on the outskirts. Then if you go in further, you have uncontacted tribes that have absolutely no contact with the West at all. And that's where the Mapinguari is really seen. So from the tribes that I was with, what we learned is that it's not the sound that kills you, but if you ever hear the call of a Mapinguari, you and your entire tribe have to leave. You have to leave the area where you heard the call. You have to relocate, move down the river a certain number of miles, and never go back to the area where this was heard.
Oh.
So you start to think, okay, well, this sounds like a more realistic
Yeah.
type of animal.
Yeah.
And as we're putting it all together, this amazing ornithologist, this guy who studies birds, actually, he proposed that he thinks that this is a remnant population of giant ground sloth. And all of the descriptions start to fit. You start to go, yeah, that would make sense, because they would have this odor, they would have this V shape on their chest, they would have the claws that face backwards, they would make this loud, kind of crazy call when they're in mating season. And giant ground sloths were killed off by humans. It's
Mhm.
one of the first species that went extinct from humans over hunting them. So if you have a group in a really, really remote location that never hunted them, and that has been actively avoiding any sighting or hearing, they've been creating little pockets of like a protected area for them. They've basically been creating like a nature reserve for
Yeah.
giant ground sloths. So there's every possibility that they could be there. And these didn't go extinct that long ago. Like the huge megatheriums went extinct, potentially 10,000 years ago, but there were other ground sloths that were still on the Isle of Hispaniola less than 1,000 years ago.
The and I'll pull up another image, but I was very surprised by the differences in sizing. Like that's
Yes.
always, when I was, if you look at like the Loch Ness monster and like the idea that it's a plesiosaur, right? Like
Sure.
you look
Yeah.
at the variety of plesiosaurs and you're like, oh, that's okay, all right, that's a lot.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of dudes in there.
Absolutely. And there's ones that are much smaller than that even. There
Really?
were, like little 3-foot ground sloths, ones
I'm
that are
very
more
excited
similar to the
about
size of them
giant
now.
sloths coming
Giant
back.
sloths would
Right?
be,
Can we
yeah.
make them come back in a big way?
I think that,
Yeah.
colossal bioscience, I wouldn't be surprised if they did that. They did the dire wolves, they're working on the dodo
Mhm.
birds, they're
Right.
working on the thylacines. Why not just throw a megatherium into the mix?
I would
Please.
love to see the mouth on the thylacine. Like I would just love to see that whole entire thing in action.
Same, same. I have had two different times where I was, a week away from boarding the plane to go do an investigation into the thylacine, only to have the funding pulled and
Oh,
and never
Oh
make it.
no.
So hopefully one day I will get there.
Yeah. Yes.
well,
Yes, please.
speaking of funding, have you been feeling called to explore your intuitive gifts and deepen your spiritual practice? Then Pathways to Spirit was created for you. Sarah Lemos has been teaching Pathways to Spirit for over 16 years. And in that time, she's watched hundreds of students grow into their gifts with confidence and clarity. This isn't just about learning tools. It's about understanding how your energy works and how to use it with intention. Over 6 months, you'll learn about your own intuitive abilities and how they show up, along with many esoteric tools and practices to help explore your potential. But this course is about more than just learning. It's about embracing your sensitivity and living your best life. Register now at mediumsarahlemos.com. It's time to uncover your gifts and abilities. Are you ready to join this extraordinary journey?
Yes.
Award-winning segues.
That was a great segue. That was a real.
Yeah, it was pretty good. I will give you
Yeah, thanks.
my hat's off to you. I did not take umbrage with that.
Oh, I'm glad to hear. Glad to hear.
So yes, going back to the fact that it was like on a TV show, but one of the really cool things to me is all of these linkings between sound. And you had a portion of this episode and talk about the sound that you got or heard and the
Yes.
explanation of that, which I found incredibly fascinating. If you could talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. So there was one night, a lot of the tribes that we were with were really hesitant to bring us anywhere near where this thing had ever been seen or heard or anything like that. So because it's such a, if I kind of take a step back, they told us this creation story about the Mapinguari and how special this is to them, and how important this animal is, and how unique it is to all other beings. So it's almost, this spiritual side of it as well. So I didn't want to press that. Obviously, I don't want to. I want to show the utmost respect. So instead, they said, "Look, we'll bring you to the most remote location that we can. It's never been seen around here or heard around here, but this is the kind of location where I could see, this animal being seen or being heard." And we're like, "Yeah, I'll take it. Absolutely, that sounds great." So we get out there and we're walking around, and I had asked Dr. Oren, he's the ornithologist who had first proposed this theory, and he can mimic any bird call. It's wild to hear him do this. It was
That would
just
be
so
so
cool.
cool.
it was really neat. Yeah, I spent way too long. Like couldn't use any of the footage, but it was just cool for me.
Yeah,
Just
did
like
you just
throwing
quiz
out a
him?
species. Yeah, and he
Yeah.
just like he could do it, and I won't even attempt it. I have a terrible voice, but he could do this. So we said, okay, I've worked with sloths before, you know, 3-fingered to 2-fingered sloths, and I know their sounds. And we said, okay, well, you've he had heard what he thought was a Mapinguari call before, and he said it really just sounds like a lower pitched version of a sloth call. You know, if they're a larger creature and they have a lower they have longer vocal cords, then it might just sound like that. And he's like, that's what it sounds like to me. And I said, would you mind if we recorded you making this call? He's like, yeah, no problem. So he did it, and it really did. It sounded like a lower pitched version of a sloth call. So I went out with a megaphone thing and I started blasting that sound into the night, walking around, you know, the Brazilian Amazon, blasting this sound as
Sure.
bullet ants are walking by and we're catching whip scorpions and finding all this other really cool stuff and little mantises and things. And so I'm blasting this call and then waiting and then blasting it and waiting. And after a couple hours, the sound guy and I both stopped and looked at each other, like we could both hear it. Something was calling back. And it sounded just like, not exactly, but close enough where we could tell that it was the animal that Orin was mimicking. It sounded like that, and it sounded just like a low-pitched sloth call. And then I could see the members of the tribe that we were with. They heard it also, and they said, we have to leave. We have to leave right now. We can't. We're like, but we want to. Like, nope, nope, no, we can't. We have to go right now. And they got really like kind of strange about totally understandably. I'm just using that word because I don't know what else. They started acting very differently than they had been before. And it was like, no, we absolutely need to leave. And I said, well, was that a Mapinguari? And they're looking at each other and going, no, because they just didn't want it to be. And I said,
Right.
well, what animal was it? They're like, nope. I said, was it a Mapin? No. Well, could you answer what animal it is? Nope.
No.
I said, okay, thank you. I understand. All right, we'll go now. And we got back in the car, and there was no talking at all until the next day. And then they wouldn't answer questions about what they had heard either. But yeah, the sound guy and I heard it. We got a very faint recording of it. And I really do believe that that's what it was.
I love when no words speaks more than many words.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were amazing. The guides were incredible. There's this one guy in particular who had seen it a few years before. And he was out hunting, and then he kind of turned the corner and saw this animal. And none of his friends believed him. And as he's describing it, they're all going, you're crazy. There's nothing, like, we've never seen anything like that. And he's like, no, I swear. And we had it, actually, I had an iPad. It was like the first generation, the new thing. And like no one had seen them. So we were all excited about this, but
Yeah.
I'm showing him pictures on the iPad and he's going through them all. And I had a preserved specimen of a giant ground sloth from the Harvard Museum. And he got to that picture and he went, this is it. This is what I saw. Oh my. And he like calling his friends over and running around. He's like, can I take this? He was like running around showing people. He's like, this is it. This is it. And the excitement in his voice and just like oh my God, they have to believe me now because this is a real animal because you've got a photo of it. And and I really think that's what he saw.
Oh, that's so exciting for him the most, though.
Yeah.
But also very selfishly for me. I'm very excited about that.
Yeah. I do think that they're still down there. But I
That's just
don't
incredible.
know how we could ever get to them, and I don't think we probably shouldn't.
No,
To be fair.
no. That is one of those things where it's like you want to see these animals, but at the same time, like we don't have a great track record sometimes.
Yeah.
So maybe we just leave them alone.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Like there was a tribe that I was living with there called the Satare Mawe, and they're the first ones to cultivate guarana, which is like if you've ever had the Brazilian soda, Antarctic. It's awesome. It's really good. But that's guarana in it. This was the first group to cultivate that, and they were pretty standoffish at first. And one of my friends, they were like, well, why, you're a nice guy. Why don't they trust you? And I was like, seriously, man?
Yeah.
Like, you're going to ask me a question? Like, of course they don't trust me.
Yeah.
Like, they have absolutely every right in the world and every reason in the world to not trust me. He's like, oh, but you're a nice guy. I'm like, sure.
Right. Have you seen
Yeah.
my skin color?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Here's the thing. History says
There's not such a great track record of people
No.
that look like me.
no.
Yeah. But they were wonderful and super welcoming. And that's where I did the bullet ant ritual. And I thought that would be a way
Yes.
to kind of show respect and get some kind of, show them that I'm not a tourist, and that I'm there for the right reasons, and I did want to learn from them and to respect their cultures, and I think it worked.
Yeah. You think? Yeah, the bullet ant ritual is something that I got to hear you talk about live and in person. And I think that there's been like a few different people who have gone after like like the worst stings and whatnot. And if
Yeah.
you see the videos where they're getting themselves prepped for one of those things. First I'm going to show this picture, which shows the glove that, spoiler alert, there's a glove involved too. And it looks terrifying because there are, oh, you can't really see it, but those are all little ants in there, and their stingers are
not so little. They're
big.
Here, I'll grab.
Oh yes, please. Did you bring one home?
No, but I have the glove.
Oh God. You do.
Yeah. So there would be an inner glove inside of here that has them woven into it. So there's two gloves. This is the outer ceremonial glove. And then there's an inner glove that's in there, and the ants are woven into that inner glove with their stingers facing inward.
Oh,
Is that the glove that you had on your hand?
It's not. No, the gloves that I had on my hand, they're it's a incredibly important ceremony to the tribe, and I would not have asked to take that. So this was like from a gift shop,
right?
in Manaus.
So please explain this ritual a little bit.
Yeah, so in this tribe, in order to be a hunter, which is the highest position in the tribe, that shows that you are ultimately committed to your community and you're going to do the best for your entire group. Like, you're sacrificing your own health, your own well-being for your group. So that's the ultimate level. That's like the best thing that you could be in here. But in order to attain that level in this society, you have to do this, it's called the Tukundera and the bullet ant ritual. You have to do it 20 times. And 20 times without screaming, without making any noise. If you yell or make any sound at all, then that doesn't count towards your 20. So I met people who did it 30. I met people who did it, 25. I met one guy who did it once. Actually, I met a few people who did it like once or twice. My boat captain, the night before I was going in to do the ceremony, he's like, I hear you're doing the Tukundera. And I said, yeah. And he goes, it's awful. It's the worst thing you've ever experienced. It's, think about slamming your hand in a door 30 times and then make that, I was like, cool.
Sign me up.
Yeah.
Where do I do this?
And I said, oh, so you've done it? And he's like, yeah, I did it. It was awful. And I was like, you did this 20 times? And he goes, hell no. I did it once. Then I said, I can drive a boat. That's all.
He's a boat captain now, so
yeah. So the ceremony is you go into you go into the woods and you find a bullet ant tree. Bullet ants make their nest at the base of a tree, and then they climb up into the leaves to kind of gather food and then go back and forth. So you see this very active tree covered in bullet ants, and they're one of the largest ants. They're about 2 inches long, and they have the worst sting of any insect on Earth. They call them the 24-hour ant or the bullet ant because it feels like you've been shot. They're about the size of a bullet. Each sting feels like you've been shot, and the pain lasts for 24 hours. So you go out
So
and
again,
collect
you were
these
like,
ants.
sign me up.
It was my idea. I had to pitch it to the production company, and I had to get health and safety to sign off on it. And
Yeah, I would think so. Yeah.
It had to be
yeah,
quite the
it was
discussion. Yeah.
it was months of
Oh, I
negotiation of
bet.
trying to get. I really wanted to do it because I just wanted to. I had 2 weeks with this group, and I knew that they were not trusting of outsiders, completely understandably. But so I needed a way to gain their trust really quickly, and this seemed
Mhm.
like the best way to do that. And
It does
just
make sense.
yeah, and it seemed like an
Of course.
experience that again I would never get other than with Nat Geo backing me on this.
Yeah.
So I had to sign my life away. I had to sign a whole bunch of waivers, and we had to meet with all these experts. Justin Schmidt, who created the Schmidt Pain Index.
Oh.
They were doing calculations to try to figure out how many stings would kill me based on what my weight was. And he's like, "No, I think he'll be fine." And we were like, "Think?"
Yeah. I like the casualness with
Yeah.
which that was said.
Yeah.
You should be all right.
And then Steve Backshall's team. Steve was the only other Westerner. He was the first Westerner to do it. He was the first one, and then I was the second, I believe. But Steve's team said their quote, and I still have the email somewhere. Their quote was, "We can't guarantee that he will be mentally okay, but based on everything that we found from doctors, he'll physically be fine." It's like, oh, cool.
Perfect.
Fantastic.
So,
when are
so
we
you-
doing this?
Yeah. So you gather
to
these
do it.
ants. They collect them in these big bamboo containers, bring them back to the village, and then you knock them out in a narcotic solution. So you kind of put them in there. The ants go to sleep, and then they take them and they weave them into the gloves while they're asleep. And then about an hour later, the ants wake up very angry.
Right.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
confused.
Yeah.
Yep, angry and confused and ready to
Cool.
sting.
Yeah.
And then everyone who's going to be doing the ceremony that day, in my case, it was 4 of us. You go up and they paint you. They usually paint you the night before. They use this like fruit juice that turns when it oxidizes, it turns like a deep navy blue. So the 3 other guys who were doing it had these beautiful patterns painted on them, just like this midnight scene and all this really cool stuff. For me, I looked like a Smurf. I just it was like not even Avatar. Like I was not cool enough to look like Avatar. I looked like a Smurf. It's just
A little hat
blue.
didn't help.
Yeah,
Mhm.
exactly.
Yeah,
Listen,
yeah,
some
maybe
white
that was a
pants.
poor choice.
Just wearing those little pants was not, yeah. But it was yeah. They they dyed me blue, and then they tell you to step up, and you step up to the bar and put your hands, like this, and then they put the gloves on you, and they put the gloves on and kind of pinch them a little bit and twist them a little
Come
bit
on!
just to make sure. And the very
Right.
first sting that I got was under the fingernail of my left finger. And as soon as that happened, I went, "Oh, this was a terrible idea. This was a really bad
Why?
idea." Yeah, and then it just over and over and over again, and then the pain builds and builds and builds and builds. You have to dance for 5 minutes with the gloves on your hands, while just
Of course you
getting
do.
stung. And then they take the gloves off, and then it was really like kind of they take the gloves off, and then the guy who was running the ceremony basically just went, "Okay." He walked away. Like,
What do I do with my life now?
Yeah, and that's it. You just roll around on the ground in absolute agony. So the pain builds for about 4 or 5 hours and just keeps building and building and building and building and getting worse and worse and worse. And then it just stays there for like 19 hours
Oh,
at just this intense level. It felt like I've worked in labs my whole life. I've spilled acid on myself. I've, cut myself with glassware, everything. It felt like a large gauge hypodermic needle injecting acid. Each sting.
Oh,
And it feels like you're melting. Like I was asking people to cut my hands off. I went crazy. I
I was gonna
tackled our
ask.
sound guy. I just started running like through the village, just like not even looking where I was going. And we had to have a doctor on site, an ER doctor, and he told them they had to tackle me and hold me down. And yeah, it was not a good scene.
oh my
But
gosh.
then I did it. That night on the boat, one of the guys who did the ceremony with us, he climbed onto the boat with a machete and said that he was going to kill me because I was a witch that had made this ceremony much worse than any of the other ones that he had done.
Oh,
And the head of the tribe basically followed him and got onto the boat, tackled him, took the machete away, and looked at us and goes, "Yeah, sometimes this happens."
what are you
He was
gonna do?
like, "I'm sorry about him, but I'm gonna take it back." One of the other guys burned down one of the huts that night. Like,
Oh
you just
my
lose your
God.
mind. You just go absolutely crazy. So we had to move the boat like miles down the river and then come back to the village in the morning. And the three other kids, they were like much younger than me. The three of
Yeah.
them and I, we kind of looked at each other in the morning. And we like high five. We were like, "Hey, we did all right."
Oh God.
Sorry about the
Did it
machete
get
thing.
yeah? Did it get awkward with machete guy at all? Was it
No,
just
no,
like,
not at
no, I
all.
get it,
No,
man.
yeah, like I would have done the same thing
Yeah.
if I'd had a machete. That's just don't give someone a machete after that,
Yeah.
or matches apparently.
Well, we
Yeah, you
have
just
neither of
completely
those
lose your
things in
mind.
our merch store, but
Oh, hey, Tressa.
Jeni?
Oh, I'm just reading my book by international TV sensation, Dave Schrader.
I'm reading the book too. I don't remember the name of it or who wrote it, but
Yeah, there. I like your shirt.
I got it on monstersloungepodcast.com. You've got a great shirt too.
Oh, this? That's so weird. I got it at monstersloungepodcast.com too. They have really great stuff. A full variety. I know, right? They have everything. Shirts, tote bags, clutches, a phone case, I think. It's the best.
I don't know what you're doing over there, but it's not the holidays anymore. Like, let's come on.
Well done again, though, with the transition. That was great.
Thank you. That's what I do.
It's your specialty, really.
It
Yeah.
really is. That's pretty
Mhm.
much my only input. Anyway.
Yeah. So a lot of times you hear, and one of the big arguments against sort of like the idea of cryptids is this idea that we would have seen things by now, like we would have discovered them by now. But when you get anywhere with any kind of vastness or like very inhospitable sort of territory, you go like, oh, okay, maybe I get it that we haven't seen something or we haven't discovered something because it's so huge and so cool. And one of the really cool sort of cryptids that you looked after or like looked for was in Mongolia.
Yeah.
Which is, I was very surprised by the amount of land to the population, right? Like surprised because you think about it sort of, we always think about things in like US terms, right? And then realize that the world is so much bigger and so much more vast. But please tell us about the Mongolian deathworm because best name ever.
Yeah, it's greatest name in all of cryptozoology.
Yeah.
Definitely. The deathworm. Mongolia is the most sparsely populated country in the world, and almost the entire population lives in Ulaanbaatar, the capital. It's I'm going to make up the number and say it's 75%, but it's some vast number of the entire population of the country lives in the capital city. So when you go out into the Gobi, you can very, very easily go days without seeing another person. And a lot of what goes on out there is there's nomads and there's mines. And if you are not in one of the mines or in a kind of nomadic type settlement or family unit, there's a very good chance that you will not run into another person at all. It's just there aren't roads. I still have absolutely no idea. I have no sense of direction at all. I am absolutely terrible at navigating anywhere. And I was so impressed, and my mind is still blown thinking about how anybody got anywhere in the Gobi. Like when we would just drive in the desert and we just drive for hours, then all of a sudden we'd be where we wanted to be. There'd be no signs, no roads, no, or just it all looked the same. I have no idea how they did it.
That always blew my mind with like early settlers of the US. Like,
Yeah.
what are you using, a compass? The sun? Like, how? How?
I never
Yeah.
saw them even look at a compass. I did see them glance at the sun, but it's always up there. I don't know what we're doing. I don't know how we're getting there.
I
There
think
was
about that
one.
every single time we go diving because the boat, you know, like the captain's the dive master, like knows where the dive site is. There's
Yeah.
no indication. You're
How?
on the ocean. What do you?
Wild to me.
Yeah. But
There
please.
was one time we had this crazy old like Soviet van thing that was converted to work in the Gobi, and it was like sparking, and it was, you know, parts of it were lighting on fire at different points. It smelled like gasoline. It was super unsafe, but really
Mhm.
cool. It did break down a couple times.
I was gonna
And
say, yeah.
oh yeah, we were trying to get to. Somebody had called and said that they had snakes in their shed. They had found 2 venomous snakes in their shed, and they wanted us to come and catch them. I was like, yes, absolutely, I will be there. I have no idea, and I was like, how far is this? And the guy was like, maybe 5 hours. We're like, all right, let's do that. And about half an hour in, some guy jumped in the van with us. No words exchanged from him or the driver. About an hour later, we go, do you know this guy? And he kind of shrugged. And then about 2 hours later again, the guy jumped out, and we're in the middle of the desert. He didn't jump out at like a bus stop, or there were no words exchanged. There was no anything. He just tapped the driver on the shoulder. Driver stopped, and he jumped out, and we never saw him again.
I love this
I was like,
so much.
all right, that's the Gobi. That's how you get around, I guess. That's if you're not on a camel. But yeah, so we were looking for the Mongolian death worm, and the stories of this sound absolutely outrageous. It sounds wild, right? Like this, so this is, you know, this like dune sandworm thing that can allegedly shoot hot acid. It can blow itself up. It can dissolve your flesh and your bone with this, you know, with anything that comes out of it. If it spits or if it explodes, it can electrocute you. It can shoot electricity out. And I think that might be. I think those are most of that
That's
covers
it?
a wide
That's
range
it?
of superpowers.
That's all? Jeez.
Oh,
I
and
mean,
it's extremely toxic if you touch it as well.
Well,
So it will also like
that goes
melt
without
and
saying.
kill you. Yeah, right. Of course, with and it lives in the Gobi, and it eats toxic plants that live in the Gobi also.
That's where he
So-
gets his powers.
Yeah.
sure.
So we
Yeah,
went and
so-
found those toxic plants and
Yeah.
brewed homemade vodka, and then put the toxic plants in the vodka, which made it taste a little bit better. But I was really sketched out by the whole
Right.
process.
So somebody was like, here, eat these toxic plants. And you were like, sure, I survived bullet ants. Like, no big deal.
Yeah, I looked at our producer, and he kind of gave me the thumbs up. And I was like, is this? And the guy that we were with spoke not a word of English, and I didn't speak any Mongolian. And he looks at me, and he cuts it with his knife, and he hands me a piece, and I was like, no. And then he takes a piece and puts it in his own mouth and gives me the thumbs up, and I was like, and I couldn't swallow. Like it made my throat like close, and I couldn't. And I was like, and he's like, all right, I guess this is fine. So then we
It's
made vodka
fine.
with it
I've built a
instead.
tolerance over years. You'll be
Right.
fine.
But you'll be all right. So we were looking for this death worm as we're like wandering through the desert, catching these snakes and what I really found is that there are animals that have all of the powers that you describe in the death worm. There are electric eels. There are horned lizards that can shoot blood out of their eyes. That can
Those
shoot
guys
hot
are so
blood.
cool, by
They're
the way.
amazing. They're one of my favorite things to catch. There's bombardier beetles that really can shoot hot acid that'll burn you if you get too close to them. There's electric catfish. So there's all these things that really do exist, but we just don't find. Oh, there's poison dart frogs that have extremely venomous skin, but you don't find them all in one animal. So what I found in the Gobi is that more than likely, and this is an area that's vast and unexplored, and a really, really varied environment as well. There are places where it's sand, there are places where there's dirt, there's places where there's plants, there's places where it's barren desert. there is the chance that there are animals living underground that we haven't seen. But really, everything about the death worm comes back to a parable of if you don't have to, don't mess with it. It's a Buddhist country. They have an immense amount of respect for life. We were pulling ticks off of ourselves all the time, and you pull a tick out of your armpit, and the guides would be like, "Oh, please don't kill it. Like, just go put it back in the desert. It's just doing what ticks are supposed to do." You're like, all right, man, we'll do that. We'll go. So I love that. I love it. It's great. But after like the 30th tick that you pull off yourself, they have some self-control.
Ticks might be the nastiest, one of the nastiest creatures out there.
Camel ticks, that big, that big, just disgusting. And so I had bed bugs, I had camel ticks, I had all of that while we were there. But they, the stories of the death worm never hurts anyone that's like asleep in their tent or that's just wandering by. The death worm hurts.
Hold on. So what you're telling me is as long as you're under the covers, it can't attack you, just like ghosts and Draculas.
Absolutely. Yes.
Okay.
It can't hurt you if you're just pull your feet into the sleeping bag.
Don't dangle your, hands or feet over the edge of the bed, and you'll be good.
Get you.
Perfect. We knew this as kids. All right.
We were ready. We were
instinctive.
So prepped. Okay.
None of the stories are, an innocent victim. Every single story about the death worm is somebody threw a rock at it, someone poked it with a stick, someone stepped on it, some Russian guy dumped a thing of gasoline over it. I don't know why you would do that, but that's the one that exploded when that happened. So it really comes back down to you just don't mess with nature if you don't have to. And that's kind of how the nomads live, is that like this is a really, really harsh environment and we only deal with the things that we have to, and everything else deserves our respect. And that the Mongolian death worm is really just that story. It's that legend in a flesh and blood creature to tell you just how to behave in the Gobi Desert.
I love that so much.
Yeah, that's pretty great.
Yeah. I really liked it. It gave me, the nomads were amazing people and so kind. I also found that Mongolian kids are the most independent and the easiest babies in the world. There were people there who had like week-old babies that were already potty trained. It was the craziest thing. They would take them literally, like they're hanging out with like a baby that's not even a month old, and they would, I don't know, through some kind of cue from the baby, they would go outside, take the bottom of their clothes off and hold them, and the kid would like go in the sand, and then they'd clean them up and bring them back inside. And I witnessed this a dozen times while we were there.
This is like almost like my amount of shock at that is the same as if you had been like, yeah, we found the Mongolian death worm. We found it. Wait a minute.
It was unreal.
Babies?
Babies.
Wow.
Yeah. I did not learn anything from them. My kids, I couldn't do that with my kids. They wore diapers.
It just kind of seems easier too, because
or not
going outside all the time.
Yeah. But they did it, and it was amazing. It was really, but just the amount of respect that they had for all life, for everything. It was cool to see. I mean, there were dogs there that are, they're guard dogs. Like this is a part they are needed for life to keep predators away from their goats and their sheep that they have. But the dogs were still like super cuddly and wanted to like lay next to you and snuggle with you. Like these were not aggressive guard dogs. And I was like, that really says something good about the people who are here.
Seriously. Like that's one of the things that I think is so fascinating about like cryptozoology in general, or any of these like myths and folklore, is like so many of them have that meaning of, listen, respect the natural world, stay in your own lane, like
don't be stupid,
don't be dumb, and don't be rude, and just coexist.
Yeah. And that's so many of the legends have that.
Mm,
That's, the mapinguari
absolutely.
is the protector of the rainforest. You're safe from the mapinguari unless you go into the forest with bad intentions or you kill a pregnant animal. Those are like the two things that'll get the mapinguari after you.
I love that. I love that for the mapinguari.
Yeah.
I love that for us.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hey,
I
we
really
are
do.
heading towards the end of the hour. Jeni, you got any last minute questions?
Yes, I do. What's up next? What are we doing next? What adventure are we following you on?
So I have two potential series that I've been working on for a little while now that I'm in like some meetings about. One is YouTube based, and one is for a network. We'll see which, if any, of them hit. Oh, two are for network, so three different series now. I've kind of always got a couple fires, a couple irons in the fire, and see what's going to go on. But none of them are a solid thing. So I'm always writing. I wrote a kids book that I really like and that I'm very happy with, and
Oh,
I'm
that's
still
phenomenal.
working on kind of finalizing that and then I'll try to get that published. And yeah,
I
Nice.
picked up a bunch of your books when I saw you at CryptidCon.
yes, thank
Um,
you.
yeah, seriously, and for all our listeners, like go to your website. Is it patspain.com?
Patspain.com. Yep. Yeah, I've
Yeah,
got 6 books on there, and
they're
they're
phenomenal. They're
also
very good.
thank you so much. I really appreciate that. They're definitely more. They're like 3/4 travel stories, 1/4
Mhm.
cryptozoology. It's kind of I was in the location for the cryptids, but then it's really more just like self-deprecating humor about the ridiculous situations you find yourself in when
Yeah.
you're, me in these places. But it's the reality. It's the, that what you see on TV. There was this whole thing where whenever the light looked really good or whenever, everything was they would shout out hero pose, and I'd have to stand and turn like this, and then they'd get these shots of me. And it's just that's not me. It's not what it was like being there at all, but
Yeah.
it's good for TV.
Yeah.
So
Listen,
the
you got to
books are
have
much
those
more.
picks. You got to take advantage of those opportunities.
Right.
Absolutely.
I
Right.
am glad that I have them now,
Mhm.
because I don't look like that anymore. So it is nice to have that.
Yeah.
See.
I have this photo of myself that I use in the talks where I'm in this ridiculous outfit that I wore for wrestling in Mongolia. And
Oh. Is it anything akin to
oh,
this?
it is. It is. That's exactly. I did not look at all like that, but it was.
I picked
It
the
was
most terrifying looking individual.
that looks like the guy that I wrestled, and lost horribly,
Yeah.
obviously,
Yeah.
obviously.
Yeah.
But it's the best shape that I've ever been in that outfit, and I do like having that photo, and I like pulling that up and making everyone really uncomfortable to see me wearing that.
Of course.
Of course.
Everybody needs to go rewatch the series. That and Legend Hunter.
Legend Hunter was on Travel Channel. Yep.
Travel Channel, yeah.
I did Nature's Weirdest Events on BBC, and How Not to Die was another one, where the whole goal of the series was for me not dying, and that worked.
Okay. Clearly that worked.
It's great. You stayed true to the title.
Good for you.
Yeah. I got up super close to a mountain lion, and I didn't die.
Oh, buddy.
They're awesome.
Oh, they're
really
so cool. I heard one and I didn't get to see it, and I'm very upset about that.
They're the Palm Springs area in California.
Yeah.
There's
I was
a
in
whole bunch of them.
Olympic on Hurricane Ridge.
Ooh, there's big ones up there.
Yeah. And the person I was with was like, "We got to go," and I was like, "But I don't think we do."
Yeah.
But there's cats.
You do up there. They're real big.
Yeah.
They're intense. Like we have coyotes out here, but it's not the same as like when you're up there. Everything's much
Where
bigger.
you at? What's your home address? I'm just kidding.
We need to see the coyotes.
I am right in the Boston area. Oh, there was a real big one in the yard just the other day that my kids were all excited and sent me pictures of.
Oh, I love it.
Every once in a while, I'm staying with Jeni, and every once in a while, I'll hear a pack of coyotes just like out the door, and it is unsettling. I don't think I've ever heard it outside this house. It is wild.
I love it so much. It is the music of my childhood, and I love it. I was raised by coyotes, by the way.
Nice, nice.
So
That's great. Never would
Yeah.
have
told me that.
guessed. You've
Yeah.
adapted very well.
thank you. Thank you. Mom and dad were great. Yeah.
What were their names?
So, Toby and Marsha. I was really trying to pick out
That
like
checks
dog
out.
names,
No,
but that's
those are
just-
coyote
Oh, that's
names.
even better.
my
That's
brain
better.
failed there, and that's what I came up with. So,
Very good. Very good.
mhm.
Yeah,
Yes.
so we're at an hour. Thank you so much,
Thank you.
Mr. Pat Spain, for joining us. This was a truly delight, and I know that you have so many more stories, and we're going to have to force you to come back and tell us.
Yes.
I would love
Yes,
to.
please.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. This is a lot of fun.
Thank you. Everybody else, hey,
So
go to
loud.
our website. You can check out our merch or our other stuff that we have there. You can email us there and check out our other projects, which I don't know that we even have any, but if we do, they'll be there. Anyway, hey, everybody, thanks for joining us at the Monsters.